Colostrum's been the greatest kind of latest addition to our health as a family. OSSA Organic and Fierce Nature, we call them sister brands. Sadly, alcohol is a neurotoxin. I got rid of all of that and I cleaned my diet up to what I call fat, fruit and meat, which is basically a paleo diet. Everything changed for me. So that bloating, that gut, that agony, it's inflammation.
This is Catch-Ups in My Kitchen, the catch-up you need every week in order to look, feel and be the best version of yourself. Join me in my kitchen every week as I speak to a new guest about all things food, health and wellness. Whether it's a specialist in their field, an inspiring story, or just a big girly catch-up full of all the recommendations, tips and advice. In my kitchen, we talk about it all. Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Catch-Ups in My Kitchen with me, Georgia Simmons, host of the podcast. In my kitchen this week, I am very excited to be joined by Catherine Farrant, all the way from Dubai. We've had this in the diary for a long time. I have been so excited to speak to Catherine. She's finally in London and we were able to record this incredible episode. Catherine is the founder of two incredible brands, OSSA Organic and Fierce Nature. Both brands are natural and clean and are here to make us all feel the best version of ourselves. They came out of Catherine's own health journey, and this is just an incredible episode where Catherine really talks about what wellness really means and how we all get swayed by the marketing of the wellness world to buy into these fads and trends when actually what wellness is very simple. We all know about it. It's been around for a very long time. We're not reinventing the wheel, and we go into this in so much detail in this episode. It's just so refreshing and I think you're going to love it. Before we get into it, if you could press that follow and subscribe button to keep supporting the podcast, that would be absolutely amazing. It does make a huge, huge difference. Now let's go and join Catherine in the kitchen. Catherine, welcome to my kitchen. How are you?
Hi, Georgia. Thanks so much for having me. Great.
I'm so excited for this conversation. We've had it in the diary for a while. It's finally December. You're over here for 4 days and I've managed to catch you. So I'm super excited. We have a quick fire round about all things food to kick things off. Mm-hmm. Which is your favourite restaurant in London?
Oh my gosh, I haven't been here in so long. But there's one we always went to, and I went dating my husband, married to my husband, and then with all the children, and we're going there tomorrow. And it's Signor Sashi up in Knightsbridge. I don't know if you know about it. It's like in a tiny little alleyway. It's like a really traditional Italian place. It's been there for years, kind of like an institution. And they just serve the most amazing calf's liver or ribeye steaks, really beautiful Italian food. The waiters and the staff are amazing. And for our family, it's been like the go-to for special occasions and all that kind of thing. So We'll be back there tomorrow. I can't believe it. But even the children are like, we have to go back. And they have so many happy memories of it.
I love that. So good. Okay, what is one wellness brand or product that you can't live without?
Oh my gosh, I have to be completely biased and say OSSA and Fierce Nature. I travel everywhere with my collagen, and colostrum's been the greatest kind of latest addition to our health as a family. Grass-fed colostrum, and then our tallow-based skincare and makeup. So the biggest, I would say we looked across our family to be unbiased. So young boys, my husband, myself, and our young daughter, it's the bar of natural tallow soap. Because we all use it. It gets rid of all needs for body washes, shampoos, you wash hair with it, everything. Husband can shave with it, I can shave legs with it. It's brilliant. Amazing. Non-toxic. I know how it's made. I know what it takes to make that bar of soap. It's basically a block of pure fat, tallow, and we have one that has like a sweet orange and then one that's plain. But it's made through the traditional soap making process of saponification. So it's completely natural. It doesn't have any drying elements, agents, chemicals, fragrances, nothing. So to me, it's like gold dust. And we've got little tins and we carry, even when my husband travels for work, he takes it.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's definitely my go-to.
Definitely your go-to. Okay, what is your hangover meal?
Oh my gosh, I stopped drinking alcohol.
I knew you were going to say that.
I want to say between 5 to 7 years ago. Wow. Yeah.
And has it changed your life?
It has changed my life. I grew up around a lot of alcohol and it was very normal, and my memories are not great. Like my 21st birthday, I poisoned myself. I was basically nearly in hospital, and even at that time I was like, that was so cool. That was so cool. And you'd be chatting about how cool that was. And yeah, I'd continue. I mean, when I met my husband, I had a night where I don't remember anything. And he was like, I asked you to be my girlfriend and you said no. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was just one of those, like, wake up with your eyelash. It was a dress up night. So the eyelashes were stuck to the pillow. And as I went on through life, I drank less and less. And then I kind of just felt like a nice glass of wine or whatever was great. And then it kind of just went to nothing. Activated charcoal, I recommend for anyone who drinks alcohol.
I do that.
That would be my answer.
All the time.
It is a hit. So you could, you can take between 2 to 10 capsules. For anyone who doesn't know, activated charcoal is actually made from the shell of coconuts. So it's 100% natural, and it's got like 10x to 20x absorbency power for mopping up anything that is toxic. It's basically what's called a binder. So it binds whatever is not needed within the stomach, and then it lets it pass out. It helps the liver do its job. So it's fantastic for anyone drinking. It's natural, it's cheap. You don't need to go for any other kind of remedies. And I would definitely not recommend what I see a lot of people doing, which is just to start drinking again. But it is funny, since I've stopped drinking, I think I don't even appreciate how amazing it is never to have a hangover. I've probably forgotten about what it's actually like. Yeah.
So true.
But for activated charcoal, oh my gosh, food poisoning, tummy bugs, cramps, kids with some kind of a bug. It's fantastic for everything, and obviously works just as well for alcohol, because sadly alcohol is a neurotoxin. And so it will mop up the alcohol. Hilariously, if you're actually drinking and you take activated charcoal, people don't tend to get to the point of being drunk because it mops up the toxins quite fast.
Oh my gosh.
So it's something that I would say if anyone's coming home and they know they've had too much, I would definitely take activated charcoal.
Amazing. Yeah. No, I take it if I've come in from having some drinks. I always take it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Good. It's a good one. Okay, what is your favorite coffee shop?
In Dubai is big coffee shop culture. But what's interesting between here, it's been so nice to be back in London. Oh my gosh. And your view and where you live, and it's just, it's beautiful. Dubai, we're in our cars. It's the funniest thing. Yeah. And I think anyone that lives in London, you never take for granted how amazing it is just to walk. Just put your shoes on, you go downstairs and you just go. Yeah. So I would say anywhere in London that serves single origin and always organic, I like to look for, because of mycotoxins in coffee and mold and all that kind of stuff. So anywhere that I can see that they've sourced the coffee, do you know what I mean? It's not just like churning coffee out.
Yeah.
And even downstairs where I met you, my boys wanted hot chocolate, and I'm always like, oh, what's in it? And they show the ingredients, and it's a proper cacao, organic coconut sugar, and what they're using downstairs, and then whole milk. And I'm not a fan of milks with a Y, or the plant milks. We drink raw milk in Dubai, and we drink raw milk when we're here. But I thought as far as coffee shops go, downstairs with the coconut sugar and the hot chocolate.
Amazing. Yeah, so amazing. Good. So good. Black Sheep are doing some good things.
Yeah.
Which food for you is a no-no?
For me, it's legumes. It's easy for me. Lentils, beans, anything like that. Yeah.
Interesting. Because a lot of people would say up your legumes.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Yeah. Because I went on a journey of really stripping back my diet at the time that I was pregnant. So I was 30. My baby was born when I was 30. So I was 29, say. How did that work? He was born a week before I turned 30. So I was pregnant at 29. And I just was I had a bloated stomach. Even if I just ate an apple, I would feel in pain. I would feel like agony. And so I walked it all back, and I read this book called Primal Moms, which this woman now, Peggy M, she's now kind of retired from teaching anything, but she really taught about going back to the basics, which was broth, meat, fruit, fat. And at the time, I was eating what kind of the American system had told us to eat, the food pyramid. So I was like piling myself with low-fat yogurts, gem squashes, legumes, lentils, tofu, anything that was kind of in that space. Yeah. And I was sick. So the minute I got rid of all of that and I cleaned my diet up to what I call fat, fruit, and meat, which is basically a paleo diet, everything changed for me. We don't live as strict as we did 10 years ago, or now I'm 42, so more than that, because I was unwell. So I always say to people, when you're unwell, you need to do 2 years of quite extreme a clean diet, understanding what you're eating at every point and realizing how everything makes you feel. So I knew how a cup of legumes or a lentil salad or a soup with lentils made me feel. And then over the years, I've got stronger and stronger and stronger. So now we eat a full range of everything, but I still don't like to feel gassy or bloated. It's not something I'm used to anymore.
This one simple thing has completely changed my life, and that is mouth taping. I have never been one to prioritize sleep, but in January, I started mouth taping and my sleep and my productivity skyrocketed. The deep restorative sleep you get from mouth taping is completely insane. Nasal breathing is the way we should be breathing at night, and mouth taping really, really promotes this. I wanted to bring it to more people, so I started Healthy Habits to bring you a luxurious and aesthetic mouth tape that you can use every day and feel proud to use. If you're intrigued on the benefits or want to give mouth taping a go, this is your sign to do so. Click the link in the show notes and use the code CATCHUPS20 to try mouth tape today. I promise you will never sleep better, and just thank me later. Now let's get back to the episode. Yeah.
So I would totally avoid that.
I've gone through something quite similar, and I remember making a chickpea and cauliflower curry.
Yes.
And I remember being like, I am in agony. This is really recently, and I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat in a long time, but I introduced bone broth this year.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I'm eating meat. I decided there and then. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And I started with mince, and I am loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Georgia,
and I've been
amazing.
vegan for a long time.
Have you?
But I've slowly reintroduced things. So I started with eggs, Greek yogurt, and reducing the kind of plant-based alternatives.
Yes.
And
yes. Oh, praise God, that's amazing.
And slowly, I'm noticing a difference.
Yeah.
And
you will see a huge difference. And it's veganism is it's like a cult of the mind in a way. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but it kind of, and it can become an identity, which then robs you from seeing the reality of what's happening in your life. And when I started OSSA, which was in 2015, so a long time ago, 10 years, I had women coming to me and going, please, I'm in pain and I'm eating what people are telling me is beautiful, this cauliflower and chickpea curry with coconut milk and all these beautiful things. But when I, as you move to more towards eggs, you know, lamb shank, knuckle, oxtail stew, ribeye steak, minced as a start, which is a brilliant place to start. So you start to feel you can eat a bowl of mince, you know, with rock salt and whatever else you want to add to it, fresh herbs, coriander, and your stomach will still remain flat. You cannot do that with plant-based things. No, you can't. And the door that opened for me was oxalates, lectins, all the kind of plant defense mechanisms that people don't understand. So plants in themselves have, like especially greens like spinach, kale, they have high levels of oxalates, which is like a defense. It builds up in the body. And the biggest cause of that would be kidney stones. So anyone listening who has kidney stones that doesn't know what to do about it, cut oxalates out of your diet. But for the last 20 years, they've been telling everyone to shove a bag of spinach in a blender, blend it up and drink it every single day.
Yeah.
That buildup of oxalates causes inflammation. And then things like chickpeas, lentils, tofu, which is just a genetically modified soy. Really, really bad for us. It all contributes to our levels of inflammation. And so that bloating, that gut, that agony, it's inflammation. And we want to bring all of that down. And the cleanest way to do it is to focus on good fats, fruit, meat. And you'll see such a massive change in when I did it, which was at, I can't keep thinking about the years, 29, I was so nourished by the changes I was going through that my husband was making a lamb shank, and then I would warm that up and I'd have that for breakfast. So I'd just have the shank meat and a little bit of, like, say, carrots and maybe that was it really, with a whole bowl of broth, because I was so retraining my body to have clean fuel, quality protein, not genetically modified, and no kind of legume starchy carbs. It made a huge difference in my life. I'm so excited to see you going through that, and be amazing to hear how you go. Then my next step to say is for women of your age that are coming up to the childbearing years, I got email after email after email of mums who'd been vegan and they couldn't sustain the pregnancy. Not that anything happened to the baby, but they couldn't cope. So what happens is when you don't have enough natural protein in the body from sources of animal protein sources, the baby, God has designed us that we will pull from anywhere in the mother's body to make sure that child doesn't suffer birth defects or any kind of setback. So these mothers were finding their hair was falling out, their teeth were weak, and that's why the NHS gives mothers 1 year free dental care during pregnancy. Because most moms that are undernourished, the baby will naturally leach from the teeth of the mother so that the baby doesn't suffer. But all pregnant women that are not eating vitally and are not giving themselves collagen, basic amino acids, branch chain aminos, colostrum, stuff like that, the baby's pulling from the teeth and the mother's teeth then go.
Wow.
And it is huge. I'll start asking around friends that how many of them's teeth, they struggle with their teeth in pregnancy.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
It's huge. And remember, with pregnancy, you need to be nutrient dense and you need to be toxin free. Like I would say a year, and that's luxury, because with my firstborn son, I was still on the contraceptive pill, which was awful. And I went off it, I'd say 6 months before, but a year before you even thinking of trying to conceive, you want optimal levels. So when that baby comes, your body is just the perfect home for that baby to grow, because of we're designed to do it, but it's like running a marathon every single day of your life to carry a baby and grow it. And so we need to be optimal.
Gosh, it's so fascinating when you think about, having a baby growing inside you and all that you need for that. And we get told, or I got told, the whole vegan movement for so long was plant, which we'll get into. My final quick fire question is, what's your favorite dish to cook at home?
I'm just trying to think what we do that's quick and easy. It's so different between Dubai and London. On Sunday, we went to my brother and she did my favorite dish, my sister-in-law. It's my recipe. It was just I found it so amazing that she did it for me. She cooked my own recipe, and we call it Jack Stew, who's my oldest son. And it's exactly as I was where you are, going through that whole process. And it's braised oxtail. So you take oxtail, which in London you can get grass-fed oxtail. You can get it for cheap at a really high-end butcher. And we braise it in tallow. And then you cover it with filtered water, a bit of apple cider vinegar, a whole bunch of herbs, chopped carrots, potatoes, leeks, and you put it on the simmer for the whole entire day. So I used to do that before breakfast, and then I used to leave it, and then at 3:00 you could pick up the oxtail, the meat would just fall off of it. The broth, it makes its own broth, because remember, oxtail is on the knuckle, on the tail joint, so it's the gelatinous part of an animal. So the broth is thick and rich, and you can use that broth for days afterwards. And then we serve it with either like a steamed white rice or just with tons of fresh coriander and rock salt.
Amazing.
And that is a meal. Even the kids on Sunday, my children were like, "Oh, the stew," they just
loved it.
And they drink the broth. And that's something we need to make normal for children, is not that they need to see nuggets and a bunch of fries in order to be encouraged to eat.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. In Dubai, I would say we do a lot of chicken livers. We do a lot of offal, because once you start to realize the nutrient density you can get from chicken liver and things like that, in terms of like biohacking or optimizing the body, it's amazing. A big roast chickens, easy peasy, scrambled eggs, like proper farm scrambled eggs. And I make my own sourdough for the boys, and sometimes I make our own butter, like a cultured butter. Can't ever go wrong with Sunday night.
Wow,
eggs
amazing.
on toast.
There's something so nice about breakfast at dinner. I don't know what it is.
That's our thing on a Sunday. Sunday. So I would say that Dubai is much more, it's hot. My husband and I will sometimes fast through dinners, like say 3 times a week. So something quick and easy. And then for like now in London, an oxtail stew, there's nothing like it. And you got the broth for days to cook with and use. And
amazing.
That's our best.
So I'd love to start with you kind of introducing both your brands. Both are so on, I don't like to use the word trend, because they're so much deeper than trend. But right now, I'm hearing so much about both of these areas, and you've been doing it for so long. So can you introduce both brands to start with?
Sure. So OSSA Organic and Fierce Nature, we call them sister brands. OSSA is Latin for bone, founded 10 years ago. And it's so amazing that you realize that it is. We've been doing it for a long time, and now everyone's kind of educated enough to understand and want to know more. And I'm so grateful for that, because 10 years ago, that was our mission, really to get people to understand what broth was, why you might want it. And then the offshoots of that, like ghee, we make our own clarified butter on our organic farm in Worcester. Tallow, which is all the most nutrient dense fat from the animal, full of vitamins A, D, E, and K. Like cooking in tallow is basically, you can chuck your supplement cupboard out. It's all in there. And things like collagen. And so OSSA Organic, gut healing pantry staples. That's what we do. So for anyone who's got to the point in their life where either they've got sick enough that they know they've got to make change, or otherwise they're proactive in understanding that they want to live more vitally, feel better, eat more healthily, then this is a range of pantry staples that everyone can have in their cupboard and use day to day. And that's how we live at home.
Amazing.
So we've got the supplements, the fats, the broths, and we've just launched tallow crisps, which is so exciting. Big bag of potato crisps. We hand fry them. It's basically been 6 months in the making how to get the perfect crisp. And yesterday at our strategy meeting, we tried all the different flavors, the salt and vinegar. But instead of the sunflower oil, which is making people so sick, we use tallow, and they are absolutely delicious. Yeah.
Amazing.
And Fierce Nature is we say recipes, not formulas, from the land, not a lab. A range of full family use, full body, unisex, lotions, creams, care products, and now makeup for women and younger girls, and all basically founded in beef fat. That's the base that we use for all of our products. And I'll just say why quickly. Why? Because up to date, most skincare products are using petroleum jelly at the base. So Vaseline is the ultimate. Vaseline is petroleum jelly, biochemical of the petrochemical industry, which means that this is a waste product. It's something that they don't know what to do with, and so they started to use it as an emollient. If you put petroleum jelly on the skin, it sits unnaturally like a fake synthetic layer on the skin. It's kind of like if you wear polyester or if you wear pure linen. You can understand the difference in the feeling. And it traps moisture or sweat between the layer of petroleum, so say Vaseline or Aveeno or Nivea or any of these. And then you feel slightly hydrated while that moisture is trapped. But then what happens is the skin suffocates, it can't breathe. Tallow is what's called bioavailable, which means that the makeup of it, full of vitamins A, D, E, and K, and a natural God-made fat from an animal, is the skin sees it as food. So it goes straight into the skin, and the skin drinks those vitamins and it feeds the skin. So it has a very positive effect on the microbiome of the body, the makeup of the skin. And the skin is there to protect us from the outside pollutants and stuff like that. And so anytime we see compromised skin that's not perfect, we can understand that there's something going wrong inside. There's an imbalance inside of the body, and you want to feed that skin. But I will say that people will always go first to the skin. What can I do why have I got acne? Why have I got this? Why have I got that? Let me put something on it to make it go away. The skin problem is systemic, which means you fix the inside and then you worry about what you're putting on. But you won't ever be able to fix the inside if you're feeding chemicals through the skin, the body's most largest absorbent organ. Yeah. And that's why a lot of women struggle with infertility, extreme PMS symptoms like a lot of pain, cystic acne, hormonal fluctuations, moods, depression, you name it. And it's all coming from the fact that we're absorbing through our skin so many chemicals alongside eating foods that are inflammatory, and the body then is living in a state of fight or flight because of the levels of toxic load and inflammation. Yeah. So the two brands are really there to help give people a solution who are trying to move away from chronic illness and sickness, or are trying to avoid it at least, and they want to live more naturally, and they don't have time to boil bones and make broth every day, and they don't have time to be mixing their own creams, which I did for 10 years through all the kits, making my own. And now we've got our own amazing warehouse. We actually make all the Fierce Nature products where Neil's Yard started off making all their stuff. Wow. In Somerset. We're in the same barn. We've had to renovate it, so
I love that. Whereabouts in Somerset? Because that's where my family from.
Oh, you tell me now. I've been there a few times, but I don't know the actual area. Okay. But it's on a regenerative farm. So we work alongside all amazing companies that are like, the land is being fully rewilded that we're on. Everything is sustainable and organic. We upcycle everything. And all of our neighbors are all doing something that's just unbelievable, like growing microgreens and composting. And it's such a beautiful setup there.
So cool. Yeah. It's so cool. So why did this start? Why did you start OSSA in 2015? Like, what made you, obviously you touched on your own health journey, but then what made you want to start the brand?
I was working in a corporate at the time. So I had my career after university in Cape Town. I became a radio DJ. I just fell into that because I was studying an extremely mathematical degree. I was doing like mathematics, statistics, economics at an honors university level, and it was just mind-boggling. And so I wanted like an outlet, and I joined the university radio station, then became an online, like a radio presenter for 6 years nationally and not nationally in South Africa. And by the time I came to London, I was tired. I also realized I was eating according to what I was being told. And I got landed in this big corporate job, which brought a lot of what I'd learned in radio to the fore. But it was a business development job, but for a wealth management firm. And so as I went up through the ranks, I became made a partner and all of that. And it's just more stress, more pressure, you know. And so by the time my second child was born, I'd been made a partner in this firm, and I'd got to where I thought I should be, you know. But I was crippled over in anger, pain, as I said, not able to understand what was going on in my body and not feeling at home in my own body. And everything everybody told me, I just was wrong. You know, eat more this, eat more beans, eat more greens, eat more. And so OSSA Organic was almost like a stand. I was like, okay, I've got to do something different, because no one's listening and no one is understanding and everyone's saying the wrong thing. And I finished maternity leave after my first son. And I said to my husband, I always thought I'd be like that Spanx lady, you know, who comes up with something in maternity leave while she's just feeding the baby. And I was like, I've done nothing. And then my husband was like, but you make this broth all the time and you're passionate about it. And I was collecting the bones from the butcher in Parsons Green. He was used to paying £60 a week for someone to collect the bones and then go and incinerate him. So when I came along and threw the bones over my shoulder, I'm like, a lot of bones, he was so happy. I was saving him money. So then I started to make for the neighbor and this neighbor and that neighbor. So he said, I think you've got like a mini little business. And I was like, maybe I do. And I never thought anything of it at the time, but I just did put one, that was his advice to me, put one foot in front of the other. And the next thing, we got an order from Planet Organic. I went in to see the buyer and I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, I'm made now. Yeah. And they ordered something like 6 bone broths. And I was like, but the whole thing from there has been like a complete and utter challenge. I'm sure you talk to any entrepreneur, no one's going, for 10 years I've just been loving everything. It's been an absolute challenge. But the education piece, the stories along the way, the things that I've learned, and the way that the business has changed my life and me has been absolutely amazing. So it was founded from a place of my own personal discovery as to how to be better and well, wanting then to share and educate that. And that's what all the brands are about now, is a movement, is an educational movement, that once you've bought into that movement and changed your own life, then you have the products to support you. It's never been about the product.
So true. It's a whole lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. And you don't have to force people into it, because you make a small change, like you said, and then you realize, this is suiting me. I'm not sitting there going, if you are a vegan, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you be a vegan. Then when you fall pregnant, I bet you're going to call me, you know, and you realize for yourself. And then the customer becomes hungry for more information, and then they can come and share and learn and trust. That's the biggest thing for my brands. I've been through it, so I'm not going to go and put tofu filler in the collagen to make it cheaper, because I know what that, like, I'm absolutely strict about our procurement, about what it, absolutely vigilant with all of that. So there's a big element of trust for the brands as well.
I love that. I also think, you know, the product sells itself, the results and everything. You don't need to be converting anyone, because they'll feel the difference. Exactly. And I think that's what's so important. Like, I had a vegan business called Greedy Vegan when I was going through my whole vegan moment. And I was basically like, more people can cut back. And I was doing these big delivery boxes. It was like pushing mud uphill. It was so hard. And it's because it wasn't the product, the business, it wasn't right. Like, I was selling products that I now don't believe in. I mean, the food delivery service was so hard to do on your own. I was literally doing it from here. I had packed all the boxes, learned loads, had the most amazing experience. But, you know, now I do healthy habits and it sells, it works. And, you know, you're like, okay. Like, again, don't get me wrong, it's not easy. But when it works, it works. So when you get the product in front of someone, you explain what it is, they buy it, they use it, they feel the benefits. You're like, it works. Whereas with the Greedy Vegan, I was like, this is just a nightmare. But similar with OSSA and Fierce Nature, like, the products sell themselves. They work. They are great quality. You don't have to worry about that.
But you should take your hat off to yourself for, like to start a business and then close it is an emotional thing. 99.9% of people wouldn't even begin.
Yeah.
And so it's like that Brené Brown quote, like, don't let anyone who's not in the ring make judgment of you. Do you know what I mean? Like if you want to, if someone else wants to get in and start a business and see how they go, then they can, but and then you're doing your podcast, Healthy Habits, like you should be so proud of yourself, because in this entrepreneurial space, you've got to have tenacity and you've got to have thick skin.
Yeah.
And I say to my husband often, I'm like, we sat next to someone at a lunch last week in Dubai who had been in the press for a myriad of negative reasons. And him and I could be quite normal with this person, but I was almost like, how do you go out if people are reporting stuff about you? And but the thing is that like we're both here doing it, and that's all we can do. Each day doing it, and
definitely. And our mission is to make people live better.
That's it,
and that's what's important.
Mission.
Yeah, definitely. Amen. So your life is very intentional, I would say, from what you eat, how you sleep, how you live.
Yes.
Touch on some of that and some of your lifestyle choices.
We are very intentional, and it makes a huge difference. And I've seen it now, like my two older boys are 12 and 10, and the way they've kind of turned out, I'm like, okay, that intentionality, that has really paid off. Yeah. And it's things like we wake up at the same time and go to sleep at the same time every day. So that circadian rhythm for a child is everything. Traveling here overnight on Saturday night, you just see that children without sleep are not right. And if you're not realizing that sleep is the issue, then you start to get ratty with your children and trying to discipline them, thinking they're bad people, when actually you just need to encourage your child to sleep 8 to 10 hours. It changes everything. So I'm a stickler for bedtime. Obviously, occasionally we'll do something fun or whatever, but the kids are in bed by 8, the babies are in bed by 6:30. They sleep 10 to 12 hours at night. I keep their rooms dark. I don't like any technology in the room at night. I don't even allow those little happy lappy night lights, because they're normally blue, and blue light affects circadian rhythm. No digital, nothing at all. And then morning, we all wake up at the same time. Obviously, we open the curtains as quickly as we can, exposed to light. Everyone wakes up happy and amazing, and that's really, really good. As the kids have got older, I'm not as strict as I was when we were young about like 3 meals a day. So now the older kids can tell me, well, I'm not that hungry. Okay, well then don't eat. And I think that was a big part of my conditioning, was like, you have to eat 3 meals and you have to eat really well, and you have to, sometimes you naturally need to fast. But breakfast is a big one. I make our own sourdough, which has been a game changer in the house, because I got it right. The first time I tried a few years ago, I just got a proper teacher, my friend in Dubai. Lots of eggs in the morning, lots of grass-fed butter, raw milk we drink. And then throughout the day, just letting them be children. That's a huge part of my mission, and a part of my like intentionality of being a mother, is letting my kids play as much as they possibly can, not letting them grow up too soon. They're homeschooled, so we've got a lot of running around and tutoring and this and that and the next thing. And I must say, I feel really proud of myself, because I got a 12-year-old now, and I can look back and go, yeah, I feel really proud. Everything I did with intention is turning out well. Yeah. And you also, when you do something in life that you feel you've done well, you will get the feedback, won't you? Yeah. And so people are like, oh, your children are wonderful, your sons are grounded and all of that. And I'm like, yes, because we have this, we're a Christian family, so I teach my children Bible study. It's a huge big part of the foundation for our family, is the way that like God designed humans to live, and what the Bible says about marriage, what the Bible says about sex, what the Bible says about respect, how to treat your friends, what happens when you get angry. I mean, there's nothing the Bible doesn't tell you. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And I didn't see that before. Whereas now as a parent, I'm like, this is unbelievable. That grounding has been brilliant for us.
Amazing.
And other than that, just kind of, I said the basics. We don't overdo it with anything technical. Food, filtered water, clean air, open the windows, sunlight when you can, good sleep, love and fellowship. And obviously as a family, you have times of fighting and arguing. Husband travels a lot and all that. But if we base ourselves in that, and then I kind of have that complete loop of faith and as the cover. I've been intentional about that for the last year.
I mean, I met your children downstairs a minute ago, and you can just feel all of that before you even speak to them. Like, they are so grounded. They were helping you. They were so polite. They were like hands-on with your youngest girl.
Yes.
Like, they were just amazing.
Yeah, I'm very
so you can see all of that in action, and it does.
It also comes from a place of how well we are as mothers. So I've really learned that. Like, don't cut yourself too thin. Don't not sleep. Don't wire yourself out. Don't be living on a hangover, because when you're strung out, you can't be what they need, and you need that resilience as a mother. So there are days where if I'm not nourishing my body and eating, really well and feeling really well and giving myself a little bit of like 1 hour a day, I walk. I just walk. I walk. I've got someone at home who takes the children, and that's what I do. So being full up as a mom is really important. I'm sure any mom will tell you, because it's a lot more. I told you yesterday I left the kids for the first time with my husband.
Yeah.
All 4 of them in the middle of London for like 9 hours, and he just came to me and he was like, I just don't know how women do it. Yeah. And we're built to do it. We're built to mother. Not everyone will be a mother. Not everyone has to be a mother. But for those of us that are, and it demands a resilience of us that we have. It's in the core of how we were made. But please look after yourself with being intentional about your sleep, your diet. And if and when you need to supplement, do so.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I teach what's called the 3 pillars: gut health, toxic load, which is your environment and what toxins you're exposed to, and trauma load. And under trauma load is your emotional capacity. So if you do have issues from childhood, if you are struggling with addiction, or if you are battling with stuff like that, deal with it before the kids come along. Don't hide from it. And that also, that for me that's where my faith came in. I was like, okay, it's so much I can do. And then like God met me and took me the rest of the way. And that 3rd pillar, that trauma load, is vitally important as a mother. Because the stronger you are in yourself, the more amazing you are able to mother. Yeah. And then that kind of, the Bible talks about generational curses and generational blessings. That generational blessing will come through. But trust me, if you're not careful, like we see in families, all the things that haunt a family, divorce, suicide, pornography addiction, gambling, whatever it might be, that carries through just as easily as all the great blessings do. And so intentionality can go way beyond just going to bed early, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can get quite deep.
But I think it's good to kind of, if someone listening might want to make some changes, and it's kind of like doing them one step at a time.
Totally.
Like you mentioned, for you, it was like cleaning your diet up, and then it was like probably maybe focusing on sleep, and then it's like all those things. Because sometimes in this wellness world now, it's so loud, but it's so overwhelming.
Yes.
And you're talking about things that are natural, free, and like not even.
I made goes back to the question. I was so intentional about that, because I got to the level where Dave Asprey was like recording a video for me, because my husband met him and like encouraging me, and the biohacking, and we were at this health optimization summit, and eventually I looked around and I just saw a bunch of guys, it was mostly men, spending so much money on every single gadget, and then they had a hyperbaric oxygen chamber in the living room instead of a couch. I'm not saying that you should sit like bad example, but squashed into their apartments and stuff. And I was just like, at what point did we lose what's free and what God designed for us to thrive, and move over to this point of like, if you don't have a hyperbaric, and if you don't have a sauna, and if you're not cold plunging for 60, these are all stressors in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Get
the basic free stuff right. And then, as you said, incrementally you'll start to change, and eventually, and the journey's the same for everyone, and everyone takes their own time. Then you start looking at what type of material is in your clothes. Then you start looking at blah, 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 blah. It just starts with the decision that here I am today, I want to be better. And so the first step I'm going to take is, and it's normally out of one of the 3, something to do with gut health, something to do with toxic load. So maybe you're smoking and exposing yourself to tar and nicotine, or maybe you're vaping and that's got to go, or maybe you're using air fresheners, or maybe you're covered in perfume, or trauma load, which is there's some kind of mental breakdown or mental strain, and you've got to deal with that. And people normally start with one and they normally stick with one. And that's why I say the 3 pillars is so important, because all of those together makes a well-rounded, healthy, vital person.
Yeah, no.
And we don't get told that enough. I think we always get told, just get your diet right and you'll be fine. Well, if your mind's not right, it's very interlinked.
So true.
Yeah.
I want to kind of focus on bone broth for a moment. So we definitely notice a massive increase in people consuming bone broth.
Yes.
I think M&S now do frozen bone broth cubes, which I can't tell you the quality of that, but I know it's so accessible now. But this has changed so much. What are the benefits of someone having bone broth in their diet?
Bone broth is the basics. So it's collagen, glycine, amino acids, and those are all the things that you'd find if you made your own oxtail stew once a week. So it's all the building blocks that the body needs. For example, when you are building and in growth and repair mode, the body craves amino acids and proteins. When you're in detox, filter out, clean out mode, you can go with things like juices and fruits and stuff like that. So living on the juices and fruits and stuff like that never gives your body the ability to grow, repair, strengthen. And broth is basically the elixir that gives all of those things to the body, which is why it's such a beautiful place to start for ex-vegans. And that's where most of them did start, especially when they were pregnant. They'd start with a cup of broth. Then they'd find themselves going past the butcher, and the women were saying they were literally drooling. They couldn't understand. The meat wasn't even cooked. Because the body will tell you naturally what it needs. That's why in pregnancy, your cravings will quickly tell you what you're missing. And some women in pregnancy will get, I can't remember the formal term for it, but they'll be craving like ash and tar and eating paper. And that's extreme trace mineral deficiency in a woman's body. Like, so pregnancy is a great way shower for us in terms of our health. But yeah, broth is the golden, it's called all those things, golden elixir of life, healing elixir, and it's the glycine and the amino acids. And it's just everything the body needs, basically.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's funny because I remember I had bone broth and I was like, sometimes it's a bit underwhelming.
Yes.
You're like, okay, cool. Like, that's nice. And then I remember making bone broth rice. Yes. And I was like, oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. I was like, this is the best thing ever. My boyfriend was like, God, it's not that good. Yeah, obviously he eats meat anyway, okay, so he's like, what are you on about? Yeah. And I was like, wow, like the flavor.
Because the flavor is amazing. And broth is like, I think the statistics are very interesting. Like very few people actually sitting and drinking a cup of broth. I used to do that in London. It's not something you do in Dubai because of the heat. But the cooking with it is, we have it all the time in everything that we cook with. Your gravies, your soups, your stews, your rices, your curries, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously there's collagen powder now, which we do, which has all the same. I mean, it's extracted from the broth, effectively, the collagen. So the way they actually make it is from the hooves and hives of cattle, but it's the same molecule. Collagen and gelatin are the same molecule. Gelatin is what causes the broth to get thick. Yeah. So all of those things the body craves and the body needs. And then obviously when the broth's been cooked with vegetables and maybe different salts and flavors and stuff, then that's what gives the flavor to rice. But yeah, we'd never do rice without broth. Yeah. It's like, what would be the point?
Yeah. No, it was amazing. Do you start your day with bone broth?
In the mornings, I used to drink broth here. As I said, I could have a bowl of broth with a bit of lamb. That could be my morning. There are many cultures that will wake up and have a soup for breakfast. But I definitely have 1 to 2 cups of broth a day. Yeah. And I take collagen and colostrum, a tablespoon every single day. Okay. And that's not something that you have to do like religiously, because the body also produces its own colostrum, collagen, apologies. So, but colostrum on the other hand, which is full of IgE, immunoglobulin, that helps build the body for repair against allergies and inflammation. It's a different molecule altogether from collagen. But broth is, my fridge is always full of broth.
Yeah, no, amazing.
Yeah.
Colostrum's a new thing.
Yes.
I mean, it's not, it's old, but like it's come back in recently as this new supplement that people are taking. You now have it under your range.
Yeah.
You touched on some of the benefits just then, but why should someone add it into their diet?
I think more people than not are struggling with, they would call it themselves allergy, but I would call it an intolerance. So if a child is getting eczema or their skin's breaking out when they're weaning and they're trying new foods first, it means that the gut is not strong enough to tolerate the breaking down of the proteins in that food. And there's some very easy identifiable culprits like wheat, sugar, egg. And so that means that our Ig levels, which is this immunoglobulin, are very, very low, which means that the body doesn't have enough of an ability to dampen down the adrenaline release that comes when it thinks it's under attack. So how odd is it that if we eat egg, the body goes, alarm bells, it's a poison, the body flares with eczema. Then what would happen naturally is cortisol would be released to dampen down that stress response. But there's an imbalance in the body, so that process doesn't happen. That's why doctors are prescribing cortisone, which is a synthetic version of that hormone cortisol that the body produces, that dampens down that major response to something as simple as egg. Now, if you get stung by a bee, you would imagine your body would want to swell, push the poison out, but it shouldn't be doing that with wheat, egg. And so that means that the body's not tolerant to that type of thing. And we need to build up our immunoglobulin, our Ig blood levels in the blood, to give the body a stronger response and not be allergic to things effectively. And that's what colostrum has in it, that Ig, that immunoglobulin. It is fantastic. It's the first milk of grass-fed bovine cows. It's basically like, you'll see one day when you have a baby, the mother produces human colostrum, which is not what ours is, it's bovine. And the human colostrum is like a thick, yellow, sticky, syrupy, it's not sweet, but that it's the first milk that you get as a new breastfeeding mom. And that you can give your baby a drop the size of a pinhead of that and sustain that child. You don't understand. It's liquid gold. Wow. It's the first food that we've all ever eaten. And it's just, even if moms don't want to breastfeed, I would just pray, please God, give them the strength to get that colostrum and give it to the baby. And then after 3 days, the milk comes in, and then the breast milk moves and changes according to what the baby needs. Breast milk will change in color, consistency, thickness, sweetness, naturally, because when your baby latches, the saliva glands in the baby's mouth connect with the glands around the nipple, and they both speak to each other. It's unbelievable. So the mother will know the baby's blood sugar is low because maybe you've been away and they haven't fed for 5 hours. So the milk will be more sugary, or the baby isn't gaining enough weight. So the milk will be more cholesterol-y. There's 80% fat. There's so much cholesterol in breast milk. And that's how the baby grows. You see in 3 months, you just look at a baby and you're like, what happened to that baby?
Yeah.
So that is all of that like design of God is what's in colostrum. And amazing. For anyone on a repair journey of any description, I would say colostrum. Yeah. Thinning hair, colostrum. Autoimmune, colostrum. Allergies, colostrum. Eczema, colostrum.
Wow. When did you launch it under the OSSA brand?
Recently. I want to say 6 months. I'm not too sure, but it's been my favorite addition. And it's because we had to source. I wanted the best. So not just any old colostrum, and it's delicious. And in America, there's a big trend, although you shouldn't do it because they eat the powder straight off the spoon. But if you breathe it in, you can, if you breathe powder, you can kind of choke. But it's so creamy. It tastes like ice cream, the actual powder.
Wow.
It's because it's thick, rich milk. It's amazing.
My God, that is good.
Yeah. So, and then collagen obviously is totally different. Collagen is a protein molecule. And that is it's called collagen protein, and that's joints, teeth, nail, skin. I mean, pregnant woman, 100%.
Yeah.
And especially if you feel and you've got weaker nails, or if you have issues with teeth, or it's
And do you blend all that into a shake, or do you just have it separately?
I actually make it into like a hot cacao drink. So I put gelatin, colostrum. I don't put collagen and gelatin together. They're the same protein molecule, so that would just be a waste.
Yeah.
The gelatin does make a hot chocolate extremely frothy.
Yeah. Cacao,
a little bit of rock salt. And if I want to make it fatty, like a bulletproof, I'd put coconut and butter and then blend the whole thing. And you got the most, it's like a nutrient dense protein, hot chocolate.
Amazing.
Yeah. But my boys will put it into
a shake.
Yeah.
And do you do that even when you're traveling? Do you find it hard when you're traveling to?
No, I want people really to understand that supplementation is over and above. So if I'm traveling with 4 kids and 7 suitcases, and I've got like samples and products and binders and folders and business meetings, and I don't have my collagen and colostrum, no, I don't bother about it at all.
Yeah.
You've got to be resilient. We can't rely on stuff like, and also you don't want it to be a mental thing like, oh, if I haven't had my shake today, there's going to be something wrong with me. A lot of brands will sell that to you. It's not about that. You're resilient naturally. We detoxify beautifully. We're so resilient naturally. So just that's about good. If your base is good, you're good. Yeah.
And with your boys, do they have a protein powder with that, or is that everything?
No, but we eat a lot of meat at home.
Yeah, they eat it.
Yeah, and they eat a lot of eggs. And they very much. My nanny who used to work for me now, she made me laugh yesterday because I had this business meeting and I needed her for 3 hours. She's got another job now because we left 4 years ago. She asked her lady, can I come back and work for Catherine just for 3 hours because we were stuck. My husband had to be at work and me at the same time. She said, I took the boys to Winter Wonderland and I tried to buy them churros. And she's like, I mean, I've worked with kids for 20 years. And she said, they were like, Franca, we're not eating that. That oil is toxic and those make me feel sick after eating them. And she was like, it's not, it comes to a point when you teach people about nutrition and foundational stuff that they will make the right choice. So a 12-year-old child knows how he's going to feel after a packet of churros. Yeah. But he's also not not a child. Like if I offer him a Magnum, he'll eat one.
Yeah.
But he's fully aware of how he feels when he eats protein, how he feels when he eats blah blah blah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's the dream for life. That's what we want for all of our children.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, touching on fierce nature. So obviously the skin is the biggest organ. It's what you're putting on your skin is so important. People don't think about that when they're putting all sorts. I mean, you see young girls now going into Space NK and they are spending so much money or all their pocket money on all these products and trying different things on their skin. I always think, oh my God, if I was to start another business, I would start a skincare range for children and it would just be like the most amazing packaging and just nothing inside. Like this is the most simplest thing because I'm like, oh my gosh, what are people doing? But fierce nature is basically, you know, as pure as it gets. But also you have the other end of the skincare range where it's like high intensity serums and like things that get deep into the skin. How can you get the same results from a really complex high formula skincare product compared to fierce nature?
I think the skin is simple. The skin is there to protect us from outside pollutants and it doesn't need over coddling. This whole idea of eye creams and 58-step programs, it's marketing. It's pure and utter marketing. And when you break it down, most of the stuff that they're using on the skin is unnatural, synthetic, and unnecessary. Just the other day, I saw a woman. She's got like so many followers on Instagram sharing the story of how she burnt her face with synthetic retinol, because we're just told that retinol does X, Y, and Z, or this one does X, Y, and Z. And in actual fact, the things that move the dial on skincare is facial massage, which as a mum of 4, I wish I had more time to do. But our gua shas and facial cupping, you can do that for 5 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day, and make huge change. And then feeding the skin with moisturizing and feeding the skin. And over and above that, really, there's nothing else I trust on the market. I think a lot of formulations is just another way to sell something to a person for a huge amount of money, as you said. So I think simple is best. We want to give the skin food, and that's tallow, A, D, E, and K. And anything else over and above that, I would look into it hard and fast. Anything that's trending or viral or whatever, that is often a place to really look deep and be like, okay, why is everyone talking about this secret formula of blah 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 blah? Because I promise you they'll put anything in these things.
So true.
And there's dangerous products and weird products and spiritually incorrect products, very strange things going on in the skincare industry.
There is. I mean, everyone now is suffering with perioral dermatitis. I had it, or have it. When you have it, it doesn't go. You just have to control it.
Okay.
So many people have it because you've damaged the skin barrier.
Correct.
And it's so common now. And
Correct.
It's like, that's not normal.
Correct.
Like, why has that happened?
Yeah. And the skin barrier, people don't understand. You've said something so valuable there, that a compromised skin barrier, compromised damage, not how it should be. Most people are suffering with that because we don't treat the skin as we should. And the minute it's compromised, how are you going to get your skin back to, you know what I mean? So don't mess around with these weird formulations. More often than not, I bet you people will tell you. I started off when I was, I don't know how old, I must have been 15. My mum bought me that Clinique 3-step, the yellow soap, I was burnt. My face was burnt. And that's when I realized, okay, no, this is not. And my gran used to make a cream with lanolin, which was like sheep fat and something else. And that's what I used. Only because I tried to be like all the girls going to Space NK and Sephora and all this. And it didn't work for me at all. Yeah. And I think a lot of girls are damaging their skin. They're way too young. And my sister sat in a marketing meeting in London maybe 2 years ago, and she called me up and she's like, I'm so shocked. It was with Sephora. They don't talk about what the products are. They'll sell anything, as you said, that's in a nice packaging that a girl's going to be attracted to, but they are on a mission and spending millions on desexualizing girls, so that androgynous type feeling, and getting into their heads that unless they carry that black and white stripy bag, they have no identity, they have no worth. It's a mind op game going on with those kind of cult-like distributors of beauty products. You'll never hear them talking to you about what's in Drunk Elephant or what's in any one of the other brands that they sell. Yeah. They're trying to get into the minds of young girls. It's a psyop mission, and they're doing really well with it.
Yeah,
it's scary.
It's so scary. And now you're doing makeup as well, which is so cool. Has that been a new addition to the range as well? Yeah, it's
new. We started off just putting cacao powder into the sun cream and making like a tinted sun balm, and then now we're formulating with beeswax to make it a bit more waxy. And we've been it's not that easy like with anything, because there's a certain way that things that people are used to, the stuff that makes waterproof mascara would turn you, which is terrifying. The stuff that makes foundation that lasts for 25 hours, terrifying. When no one's actually telling you why it's 24-hour Maybelline longwear. They're just telling you the benefit without telling you what's making it that. And I think people would be horrified.
It's so
true. Yeah, but we're having fun with it. We've just got a range of new skin tints now, which are amazing. And we're having such great feedback about them. And they're just little palettes like that they're just amazing. And so we're just a work in progress, sticking true to our ethos and what we want to do. And really for me, like if a 13-year-old girl gets a little selfie stick and a tallow color up on her cheeks, perfection.
Yeah, it's so true. And like, girls want to have fun with it. They want to play with it. They want to experiment with it. They're seeing their mums do it. They want to do it too. Yes. But putting, Maybelline and Rimmel and all that on their face, it's just, you're just absorbing into the bodies and it's just...
And toxic load is a way untouched topic. Not enough girls understand. Don't just pop pills. Don't just take contraceptives. Don't just... And then we're colouring, dyeing hair and it's all just... and that's why a lot of women are struggling. A lot. And infertility is like massive and... You name it. We're at it's a crisis point.
It is a crisis point. Yeah. So I have 2 final questions. The first one is, what does wellness look like to you now?
Now, I love the way that you said that because it's changed over the years. When I was first sick and I started to get better, I was very pedantic, and I had to be. There's a book called The GAPS Diet, Gut and Psychology Syndrome. Natasha Campbell McBride, she'll tell you that if you are inflamed or suffer from an autoimmune condition, Hashimoto's, any kind of thing like that, it's going to take you 2 years to heal. Why? Because it takes most of our lives for us to get sick. People are getting cancer in their 60s and 70s. That's 60 and 70 years of exposure to things that are causing cells to become abnormal and cancerous. So now then you say to someone, it's going to take you 2 years to heal. What? No, I'm not doing that. Give me some pill and I need to be better tomorrow, 2 years is nothing. So I started off quite pedantic. What wellness looks like to me now is, I feel emotional about it. It's how my life is. Like I wish I could go back to myself at your age, like 27, and just say all the next 10 years, because that 27 to 37 is hard. You're married and then you're realizing marriage is all the things that it is, and then you're pregnant and it's your life is not your own anymore, but it's the foundation of the beginning of everything. And I just would tell myself, like, it's not even the end, it's the beginning for me now, but in the end of that decade, everything I've always wished for is there, but there's no stress, there's no strife. So as I said, like, faith for me is right at the center of everything I do. My food is perfect, but at the same time, if we went downstairs and had a big eggs on toast and or a burger or a sourdough pizza, or there's no pedantic nature around, I can't do this and I can't do that and I have to extra diet myself. I know what I don't want to eat. I know what I do want to eat. I know when I feel optimal. I'm constantly 80% optimal. And the rest of the 20% fine. Alcohol, not interested in. Coffee, not really interested in. So all that kind of like more addictive stuff I've pushed to the side. I'm with my children day and night. I homeschool. That was not something I ever thought I'd do. My kids started off at a private school in Fulham. That grew as I grew. I've got happy, healthy children, a loving husband, and marriage is hard. I'd never sit here and say to people, marriage is the hardest thing you'll ever enter. But the Bible, it's a covenant made by God where when you marry someone, people do not understand that when you take that covenant, two people, it says in the Bible, two become one flesh. You don't mess around with that. So you take it seriously and you work at it. And love is a choice every single day, and you fight for your family. And that's what marriage is. Marriage is not, romantic honeymoon. Again, we're being lied to about all of that. It's
glamorized.
Totally glamorized. Then people get let down. Yeah. But if you are going to make that covenant before the eyes of God, you fight for it and you work at it and you better yourself and you better the other. So all of that, today, wellness to me is all of that put together.
Yeah.
And at the core of it is I know I'm a child of God. Like, that's everything to me. So I have God as something higher than myself, the Bible as our kind of foundation for our life. And then we have togetherness as a family. I feel like my children are outside of an education system that can start all the mind issues. Like I said, I believe veganism is a mind thing, not to be negative, not to be disrespectful. I think it does get into especially women's minds. And so that my children are under my watch in terms of what they're being taught and what they're learning. They're totally up to par with their grades. In fact, most of them are way ahead, because when you're homeschooling, you can learn faster than what the system lets you learn. We are exposed to sunlight. We moved to Dubai for my husband's work. And it was one of those family things, like, if I'm going to work, we got to go. And I was like, okay. So I've managed to run my company. It's not ideal at all from a different country, but for our family, that was right. We live near the sea. I walk on the beach. And my body is strong and optimal and well. And so is my children's and my husband, although he's been traveling a lot. So that's taken a bit of a... and so wellness to me now is just the freedom in all of that. And it's taken a long, long time of going that way, coming a bit back, going that way, coming a bit back.
It's just so much deeper than what people think wellness is.
Wellness is so much deeper than putting on your Lululemon, matching, going to the gym, someone seeing, it's all really been a little bit too...
formative,
and fake, and prescriptive. Like, you have to do these things. Well, you need to understand what you're doing. You can have your Stanley cup and be drinking fluoride water out of it. And people, I want women especially, that's who I'm always talking to just understand everything. If you're going to go to the doctor, go to the doctor and don't take a script and go and fill it and drink the pill. Say, Mr. Sir, what is this? Tell me what this does and why do I have it? 9 times out of 10, 2 of the things on your prescription are there just in case. Why are you giving me 3 Tylenol a night? Well, you might have a headache because you feel sick, so it's just in case. Start thinking for yourself as a woman, especially if you're going to be a mother, the matriarch of a family who comes under the cover of your husband. But when your husband is out providing, you are at home running this household. You got to have your wits about you. Girls don't ask questions.
No.
Please.
We're afraid to ask now.
Afraid to ask. And we're also afraid not to look a perfect way and not to, I got to the point where I was like, if another person comes with a Chanel bag and says they drive a Range Rover, I'm going to freak. And I'm talking now about a certain, really generalized. But it's that just ask questions. What do I like? What works for my body? What makes sense to me? Because 9 times out of 10, when someone tells you something, especially what you're listening to on Instagram, you must be like, if there's a little voice inside, and it's often God going, that's not the way.
Yeah, so true.
It's not the way.
So true. So our final question is, what's in your handbag? I love this question. It's just a bit of fun.
My handbag, I'm super proud to say what's in my handbag. I've got my mini pocket diary. I write everything down. I keep it mini because I've gone through all the notions. Sometimes you have a big bag, sometimes you have a small bag. I'm going through small bag phase. I can make little notes. I write Bible scriptures. I write notes to myself of small things I've got to do and all that, and I love. I've got my Fierce Nature tallow selfie stick. This one's nearly done.
I love that.
It's the true pink. It just gives color on the cheeks. It's tallow, and actually I usually carry a plain one as well, because then if my skin's dry, I can just quickly cover it up.
I love that.
And then I've always got a pen, always.
Yes.
I don't know if girls are like that. I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. I write everything down. I've got a hair clip, like a doggy clip thing that belongs to my mom. Perfect. House keys, and then I've got a sample of our new skin tints I was talking about.
Oh my God, amazing.
So this is the light foundation. It's basically tallow, beeswax, and this is too light for me, but I'm sampling it as like a highlighter. So I'm always kind of testing and sampling a product.
Amazing.
And then today I've got another little mini bag which has got my cards, my wallet, and cash.
Perfect.
And then I've got a little mini lapel microphone. I'm trying to record more content. I don't know about you, but it's a full-time job.
It's
so hard.
Full-time job.
It's so hard. And then I never get comparinitis when I know what I'm doing, but I feel like because I haven't found how I want to do on the go content, I'm too busy watching other people and then going, well, I can't do it like that, so it's not good enough. Big mistake. So I'm just like, my go-to is pray. God, please help me find the way that I need to do my content and do it so that it doesn't feel like work and effort. And it's a lot.
It's a lot. I'm trying to post to grow, to get out there, to get your voice out there.
It's a
lot.
And the other thing is you're constantly looking around and going, social media makes you feel not good enough because you how do people get 1,000 likes? I don't understand it. It's hard, but it's a journey. And again, that's why I want to commend you. You don't get anywhere unless you start. And 99.9% of people will never start.
It's so true.
And here you are. So
yeah, exactly. What a perfect place to finish. Well, Catherine, thank you so much again for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you.
It's been amazing. Thanks,
Thank
Georgia.
you. Thank you guys so much for listening. Wow, what an episode. If you loved this episode, you are also going to love next week, as I am joined by Andy Mant, who is the co-founder and CEO of Bon Charge. So if you're loving these episodes where we're talking about intentional living, toxic load, then you're going to love next week as we talk about this in more detail. If you want to be reminded when this episode goes live, then click that follow and subscribe button so you get an alert when next week's episode goes live on Tuesday. Thank you guys so much again, and see you next week.